everybody, and welcome to episode 29 of The Insiders on Real Estate and Marketing. I'm your host, Sandy Hibbard, and my co-host, Mr. Marc Miller.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm excited about today's show because we have special guests, Barbara and Scott Scribner of the Scribner Team over at Keller Williams. And we're going to dig into their secrets as to how a couple manages a real estate business and each other over 25 years. So we're really excited. But first, before we do that, I want to just put in a little plug for our sponsor, Secured Title of Texas, and give them a huge thanks. This is the second year that Secured Title has been sponsoring the Insiders. They're a local, kind of homegrown title team that's put together here in Dallas, ran here by this guy, so you know it's in good hands. And the cool thing that I like about Secured Title is that they give back to the community. They really believe in giving, and they put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. A couple of the organizations that they actually are involved in right here, grassroots, is the Meals on Wheels in Collin County, Boys and Girls Clubs of Collin County, the Kiwanis International, In My Shoes, and North Texas Veterans Initiative is on their plate, plus more. So if you're looking to create a relationship with a title company that knows this area and is homegrown, local, and cares about real estate here in Dallas, plus has experience from 1949 closing real estate deals, Secured Title's the deal. So
no, it's actually
a big
before I
kudos
was
to them.
alive.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
We sure about that date?
Somebody must have been working before
I
you
don't
came
know.
along, buddy.
Thank
I don't
goodness.
know. All right. So here we are, middle of June already.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe it's the middle of June.
Well, I know. It's and it's almost like every month something's changing in our market as well. So
Yeah.
obviously our nice boost to our interest rates,
Yeah.
which was really interesting because I've tracked listing side, and it was just almost simultaneously, to me, it looked like the listings almost doubled and what I was seeing in the marketplace. So I'm going to be interested to hear what Barbara and
Me
Scott
too.
had to say about
Me
that.
too,
But
yeah.
so we're just kind of motoring along. We had a good closing month in commercial. We closed over 100 million in commercial.
So commercial's
deals.
still crazy?
It's still very hot. Yeah, a lot of land turning over, far northern Collin County up into Grayson, that type of thing. But a lot of assets are changing hands. The land side, just beyond just a sell, is actually now development following. So we're sort of seeing the development pathway as well, which includes retail to that side. You'd expect multifamily. And residential, last month we were off probably about 20% on open orders, but I anticipated that. Now I'm just kind of sitting with interest to see where we go.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the evolution of the ARMs coming back into play. What index they're going to tie to is going to be kind of interesting. I'm hearing conversations about the default market and that postings potentially coming back into our play, which to me, I've always looked at inventory as REO being a part of our inventory and listings, which we haven't had for quite a while.
Haven't had. It's been like
So anyhow, I think we're all in kind of this environment that we really don't know what to anticipate. So when I find that, I just say stay with your basic disciplines of what you do, your model, and then just try to be at least engaged and alert as to what's happening as circumstances change.
Yeah,
And
I'm really
they're gonna
curious
change.
how this is going to pace out.
Yeah.
With everything that's happening, the interest rates, we're starting to see houses sit a few more days on the market. More listings are coming, so we'll talk about that.
Well, the only disturbing thing to me is that you've got, we obviously know the inflation side, but if your strategy is to put the brakes on the raising interest rates and slowing the real estate economy down, that's really not a very good strategy in my opinion.
I don't get that, honestly.
Not because we're in it, but I mean, is that what you're really relying on?
I know.
So that's a little bit alarming to me. But again, we're creative in our industry, so that happens. And not only is it the ARMs, but it's buy downs. Other things that we hadn't even thought about are going to come into play. FHA, VA assumables, wraparound mortgage. We're going to see a lot of changing if that's what happens. And I'll be interested to see your perspective too on the new home market as well to that side. So anyhow, it's interesting times, is one would say.
Yeah, that's why I'm hitting the road, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to Cabo.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm gonna just take my week, and it's my birthday week, so I'm gonna just
go do
hang
it.
out and celebrate,
There you go.
and
you can do all that
then
online.
come back and and face summer market.
Right.
You know, people tend to think that you don't have to market during the summer. Wrong. Those that market in the summer shall eat in the winter.
Yes.
So very important for everybody to keep that up for sure. Well, let's, I want to spend some time talking to these good people.
Sure,
Because
let's
they've
do
got
it.
so much experience right here in Dallas.
Absolutely.
Especially North Dallas, North Texas. So let's get an intro on them.
You bet. Well, it's Scott, obviously Scott and Barbara Scribner, good friends of mine, Keller Williams, Plano, where we got to know each other. They're native Dallasites.
Yeah. Are y'all still over at Brody's place?
So we
Yep.
are.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are.
KW Plano.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're the only friends I have that went to University of Texas. So, and I'm saying that jokingly.
I feel like
but-
you're bragging about that,
I had to start processing that for a second. Like,
well,
you live in
but
Texas.
Scott
What are
used
you
to
talking
say,
about?
hey, Marc's the only Sooner that I like.
Yeah.
So,
We're,
He's the only
we're
Sooner I
able
like.
to overcome these
we
differences.
can.
Yes.
Yeah. But it is a fun rivalry
It
to
is.
have.
Oh,
So
it
we've
is.
always had fun
It
with
is.
that. They're involved in the Institute of Luxury Homes, so they're in the luxury home space. And then, although they're still not, they've been involved in the Dallas Executive Association for a number of years. And then they're also, Scott serves the board of directors of the National Association for Self-Employed for that
that's
side
cool.
for 5 years, Scott. And
I've been on the board for
longer.
probably 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been on the
Yeah.
board for
Yeah.
12 years.
So anyhow, they're just they're the top guns,
Aw.
but what I love about
And
them
they
is
do it together.
They do it
Yes.
together, and then they also, and we'll talk about that. They also have a balance between real estate and life,
Yeah.
and I think which is so critical. And I don't think enough people do that in this industry and grind till you're just so exhausted you fall over. They've found the ability to manage both sides and
Yep.
enjoy life and the fruits of their labor, so
Yeah,
to speak.
For sure.
So anyhow, all that being said, I'm delighted to have him here. And so kind of to segue into that, let's just kind of talk about the pathway. How did you guys kind of come into the pathway of real estate? And
Yeah.
then how did you immediately decide to be a team, or did you evolve into becoming a team?
Okay, well, can I
Sure,
take that
please.
off? So it's interesting because we became a team from the beginning. We both came from corporate backgrounds and spent a number of years in that. I did a lot of traveling, it grew a little bit tiresome, but we've always loved real estate. And Scott had a client that he worked with for a number of years who bought and sold properties. And that's how we started. And at that time, we decided, well, you know what, we'll just do this. We'll partner up with him. We bought dozens of properties and improved them and resold them. And we still do some of that here. It's harder to find those opportunities here in
Yeah.
the market that we're in. But, and we kind of joke about it because we both came from these corporate jobs where, you have a certain set number of hours, and being self-employed, it can be many, many hours, but the joy in that far surpasses, in our minds, what we came from. And so his mom, tell him what your mom said.
Well, yeah. So we both, once we decided, okay, yeah, I think we can do this. And I think we would like it. We quit our corporate jobs on the same day. And so my mother was going around telling her friends, Scott and Barbara are unemployed. And I said, no, we're self-employed. We're self-employed. Although in the beginning it sort of felt that way sometimes. Yeah, it was a little.
Yeah.
But that was pretty brave for both of you to quit corporate
Yeah.
at the same time.
It was, and I got my broker's license at that time, and so I would list the properties when we sold them. And then shortly thereafter, Scott, got his license, and we just decided this is it. We're full time. We're doing
Wow.
it.
We haven't looked back.
We have
Did you
never-
launch into KW Plano at that? from your
Not
start?
at that
no.
point.
This was with another company.
Okay.
Yeah, we started another broker.
yeah,
But we
and-
got to KW as fast as we could.
We
Yeah.
did. We
Yeah.
got to KW
Yeah.
as fast as we could. We've been in the business a long time, and we don't really see doing anything else. We really
Yeah,
don't.
and sadly,
Yeah.
we were in the business really kind of about the time they were just starting to talk about the internet, which is a little scary. So,
And
so it's been a while, Mark.
Yes, we have. Well,
We're
it's
growing
been
up
a
together in
while.
this business.
I know. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So how do you guys take us through a day? How do you sort of decide as a team who's on what categories are you working in, and
Sure.
divide and conquer, and what I'm going this
Sure.
way, Scott, or that way, or you're going together? How do you?
So I
what do
think
you-
we work together really well. So there are things that we do all in, all together, and then there's other things that we do divide a
And
little bit.
if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
So Barbara is extremely organized, extremely detail oriented, and I'm not. And that's one of the things we talked about was let's think about what each one of us is good at and not good at. I'm not super organized, but that's the beauty of being part of a team, whether it's your spouse or someone
Right.
else, is she's extremely organized, extremely detail oriented. She's a great communicator, and all things that I feel like I'm okay at, but she's far better than me at. And so she tends to be more involved in that, writing the contracts. I tend to be a little more involved in, market analysis, and when we have some difficult situations with other agents, that type of thing, I tend to be more involved in that. That sort of gives me energy. I would say that sort of gives Barbara, it takes energy away from her.
The reality is we both do that, but he's much better at that. I mean, you just need to rely on what your strengths are. What energizes you, and that's what takes you to the next level.
And we didn't, it's like it just sort of evolved over time. It got more and more. It's like, well, I kind of, she obviously fit these roles that she's phenomenal at, and then I sort of filled in what I felt like I was decent at, and it sort of worked
You're
out to
really
be a
good at
nice
it.
balance.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's so important in a family type team.
Right.
To have real strong roles and for those to be defined, because otherwise it's your family.
Right.
And things can kind of slip and slide and take advantage of each other and things like that. And I love how Tom Ferry talks about family
Yes.
teams and rolls his eyes, because it can happen and get real sloppy unless you really define what people do. But I see from you guys that not only are you a good real estate team, but you're also just a good team together, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like it, yeah. So we're about to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So-
Yes.
I'd say
Awesome.
that, Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I
know.
make it, I don't know, I may be,
Hey,
we'll see if I make it,
all the way.
we'll see if I
That
make
was
it
one of
another
our
couple of
goals
months.
for people to see that we're married, but we're also best friends.
I love that.
And we work together very well. And although we have certain things that give us energy in our team, with our clients, we're all in with every client, with every couple from the very beginning. We love our clients, and we start off with them, and we just have the conference calls, the face-to-faces, and that's so important to develop that relationship, because every client to us is a relationship.
Oh, yeah, for
And we
sure.
decided early on, some teams, he has his clients, she has her clients, and we didn't
all
want
our
to do it that
clients.
way.
I like that.
We wanted people to feel like, okay, if Barbara's tied up in a closing, whatever, down at Marc's title company, then they can reach me. And so we try to stay connected with each other to make sure we know what's going on in our business, which
Right.
in some ways probably maybe isn't as efficient, but for us it's important because again, we want our clients to know that we know what's going on and they always have an ear that they can talk to.
Always.
Now, is this the team, or do you guys have a listing agent, buyer's agent, or any admins? Is
Well,
there
we do have
behind the scenes?
a listing coordinator
Okay.
who so helps with some of that, the actual entry of the listings. But when we're under contract, we take it from that to closing,
Yeah.
and we don't have anybody. We're just very hands-on with that. And larger teams do work well, but for us, it's just we just like to be involved, and it's just important to us because again, these are relationships, and these people are our friends, and we would want to be treated the same way. And it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make if you're buying or selling or investing. So you want to make sure that you feel comfortable in that process, and that's our goal, is to make our clients, our friends, to feel calm, in control. It's their decision, and we're helping that process and guiding them along the way, navigating through this crazy market we're in.
I think that's so needed.
Yeah.
Well, you strategically made a decision not to build a big team, which I admire, because I mean that takes on a whole nother
It
place
does.
in itself.
Yeah,
and
and
It does.
we talk a lot about we need to be true to ourselves. Like who are we? We didn't want to be something that we weren't, because I think people sort of, they can see through that. And so we wanted to sort of keep our core very small. And again, it's just like, I mean, nobody's better at handling a transaction than Barbara is. Like, you know, no one, trust me, no one is better at that than she is.
That's awesome.
Having said that, we also, it's worked out well because we have reciprocal relationships with associates that we know and trust in the office. We travel a fair amount, and so we always have someone we know and trust that's available to sort of handle things while we're gone, and then we do the same thing for them. It's just worked out really well. And also you find people that are like you, other agents that are like you and have your core values, because it's sort of jarring when a client's dealing with one set of people, and then all of a sudden they're out of town, and then you're dealing with someone else who is very different stylistically.
So that introduction is important.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So let's talk about your marketing for just a second. How is marketing a couples team or a team different from an individual agent's marketing? And are you guys deep into tech and social, or are you more working from referral? And how does your marketing work?
I'd say that our strength is in the referrals and in the social and tech. Obviously, you have to do it. You have it, and we do that. But our sphere is large. It's strong. It's built over many years. We're involved, and we could talk about that more later. But a lot of organizations that are our passion, and so inherently that develops those strong relationships with people who know other people, and we want to work with people as awesome as you, or as awesome as you. So if Marc calls us and says, hey, I've got X person, I mean, of course, we're just going to jump all over that and just know, well, if somebody Marc knows, it's got to be amazing, you know?
Yeah, and you figure out over time, good people know other good people.
Yes.
And so we've been fortunate and blessed. We've been in business long enough that, again, almost all of our business is referral based, and the business we get referred to us, we already have this, we call it kind of the trust bucket. They already have a level of trust in us, and it's our goal to make sure we maintain that and sort of take it to a new level. But from a marketing standpoint, so our focus has always been staying in connection with our sphere of influence. We don't really do geographical marketing. We, tangentially, we live in a sort of a nicer neighborhood, and so we get business from that.
And we're very connected in that neighborhood.
But it's really based on personal relationships.
Right.
And that's the way we look at our business is we're doing a transaction, but it's not just a transaction. It's a relationship that we want to be careful to maintain and treat with respect, and to be kind and courteous, and to be correct, because we want that relationship to turn into another relationship down
And
the
I
road.
so see that with you guys. That just, you reek of that, So in an area where you live, in a luxury area, how do you approach making contacts and staying visible in an area?
In an area. Well,
It's a great question.
it is a great question. I would say that we're very involved in the activities in that area. We're very close to our neighbors. I think this particular area that we live in, there's just so many, and we've been in that area for a number of years now. We just have so many good relationships, strong relationships, and we've helped people move in there. We've helped people move out of there. We've helped people move back in there, and it's just it's very gratifying, very satisfying, and very joyful to know that you can help someone in that process.
But I'll say a specific example. We talked about it earlier. We enjoy music, and kind of back to we should be involved in things that we enjoy, because why not? You go around once. Why be involved in something that you don't enjoy just to get business? So. We love music, and so we've hosted a series of concerts at our home, which have been, I would say, very well received, and people have been like, when are you going to start doing that again?
I have to have special tunings for my piano.
Yeah. So
they have to come in and look.
That is awesome.
we've had an $8 million Stradivarius violin
in our
house.
home. And so that was pretty amazing.
But those types of events, it's a way to connect with neighbors and offer them something, and
Right.
you know, people like a party, and so
Yes.
again, we don't do that to get business. We do it because we enjoy doing
We love it.
Yeah.
but tangentially, those things tend to happen.
Yeah, you're naturally going to mix into
Exactly.
those people. What I've always
Exactly.
loved about the real estate side, you know, if I was in that same environment, somebody said, "What do you do?" and I said, "I'm entitled," they'd like, "Oh, okay, whatever that is." But
Nobody really knows
when you're in that
Whatever
grouping
that
and you
is.
say, "We're a real estate team," we use your elevator discussion, if you will, on that side, then it's like, "Oh, okay, well, what's going on in the market?" I mean, you have the ability to connect potentially right there, face to
Automatic.
face
Yeah.
with somebody
Automatic.
that if they didn't have a need today, they may have a future need, and they're going to know that you guys are in that group, association, whatever it is that you choose to do
we
socially.
try
So
to
it's a great way to
and
engage.
we try to maintain it, but like in social media, I mean, just
A balance.
a balance. I mean, posting a lot of things about real estate, that's boring to people.
Yeah.
We want people to know we're in the business. We want them to know that we're successful. But we try to do more personal type postings and just kind of
Absolutely.
sprinkle in business, so people kind of remember, hey, we're still around. We're
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're still in the
And
business.
here's a side note, everybody. This is how you build a luxury real estate team. We've been talking about this. I've been preaching it. I've been doing videos. It's on my blog, talking about how if you're going to build a luxury real estate team, you have to be authentic.
Yes.
It's about
yes.
being authentic and being, it's like your life rolls out and becomes that real estate
Exactly.
team. You've got to live it. And Marc's always saying, if you're going to be in luxury real estate, get with a luxury broker or a luxury team. You know, it's got to be a real thing. And this is what you're hearing described right now, is how to build a real luxury team. I love that.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah, we have a lot of we have a sophisticated clientele, and they sort of see through that if you are just trying to sell them or promote or get them as a client, and it doesn't. I don't think it works well.
Right.
It certainly wouldn't work for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you go out and abroad. You go up to Colorado where you have a property. You
We
travel to
do.
other places.
Yes.
You
We
crash
do.
weddings. You do a
Yes.
lot of different
Yes.
interesting.
We have been
They do.
known
They're
to
like
do
the
that.
wedding
Seriously?
crashers.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't know
I don't
this
care
story.
where they
Crashed
are.
in
Well,
Mexico and 30 days ago.
30 days
Yes,
ago. And we have been invited to, be friends on Facebook. We've been invited to dance with the wedding party. And they're like,
Oh my God, I
would you
love
like a
this."
picture with the bride? I said, why, yes, we would.
We'd love to get extra credit if you crash a wedding in a foreign country, so we've tried to up our.
Say you get extra credit.
Yeah, we've done it in
For
England,
sure.
Italy,
Yeah.
Ireland, and just
Mexico.
in Mexico.
Mexico.
Don't tell anyone about this though.
But I do again love the balance that I talked about. You've got the real estate business, but you've also got things that you enjoy doing, and you go and do it, because it doesn't mean you have to disconnect and selling real
Right.
estate.
No.
Right.
But you're very specific in terms of enjoying your life and doing things, and you just have so many things in common as a couple to start with, but then overlay that into the lifestyle that you've chosen to that side. It's just it's refreshing. Yeah, it's fun.
That's so sweet to
Yeah.
say that. And I mean, I definitely consider us explorers because we love seeing new things, experiencing new things, and it's part of what we do, who we are, I guess.
I love it.
Also, again, it's people want to be around people that are
Have
interested.
interests
And not that we do it for that reason,
Right.
but we find that people really notice a lot what we do and where we go, and it sort of creates conversations. Again, that's not our goal, but it's, it happens.
Yeah. So it's sort of like a deliberateness about the things that you choose to do, not because you're trying so hard, but you're being deliberate about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
I
would
like
say
that.
so.
That's just smart.
Yeah.
That's smart marketing. Well, guys, it's so good to see you again. We've run out of time, and I want us to jump in really quick to give our 3 takeaways. But I just can't tell you how great it is to see you after. It's been a while since the
has.
last
It has.
time we
Too
actually
long.
had a meeting and
Too
visited
long.
with each other. So I'm glad you stopped by. 3 takeaways. I like to do this at the end of our shows, to just from each person, what would you like our listeners and our viewers to take home with them today about you, about what we're talking about?
Well, the whole thing that we're talking about, I think it's so important to listen carefully to just listen, and that's what we do with our clients. So we listen carefully. And then the importance of clear communication. You have to have that clear communication and clarity. And I'd say a deep respect, the deep respect, for your clients, for each other, for what we do. And I have a bonus one. It's just number 4 to me would be just the joy in what you do. Find joy in that. Never lose your sense of wonder. Just always love what you do.
Darn, that was one of mine.
Beautiful.
I would say, one for me is, and this has been an important one for us, and it took us a while to discover it, is be true to yourself.
Right.
Figure out what you like, what you don't like, and just stay in the correct lane. Stay in the lane of doing things that you're good at, that you enjoy, because it won't be work. 2 is make sure you're not doing transactions. Make sure you're building relationships. You're looking beyond.
Absolutely.
You're looking beyond getting this deal done. You're helping them afterwards and down the road, because that's where you start to get referral business. And I agree, it sounds really sappy, but just be kind to other people, to other agents that are new, that are struggling. You're doing your own client a favor by helping that other agent through this process, and treat them with respect. And we found that we've been able to close a lot of deals that would have fallen apart if we had taken a real bombastic, aggressive, anger approach. But those are 3 obvious ones to me.
Yes. Beautiful. I love it. Mark?
Well, the one I've always said, which they do, is engage in your community, and then also choose some organization that you might be able to support, engage in. And that could be because you want to improve your own professional knowledge, et cetera, to that side. But it's more than just the drip campaigns and what you post. It's really about making a full plan to engage, whether it's nonprofit or whatever you do, to be a part of that community, that side. I can't, Barbara and Scott's reputation, in my opinion, is stellar up in our marketplace. And it's not only for their professionalism, but it's also because they're easy to work with. And with the state of the affairs out there, we've got, and they would appreciate this, we have so many people that don't know what they're doing, that are confrontational. And you're going to end up maybe you get it to the closing, but you're going to get it closing with everyone in a sense of agitation, and not having the experience that you'd want them to have, of having worked with whoever, professionals, and get through to the closing side. You want it to be a great closing experience. So choose people that have that kind of reputation, and choose people that know their respective space, because they know their space in luxury. They would help anyone that came along
of course.
But they're particularly have a niche, I think, in that space, and they've done a great job with that. So, and then if you're gonna, I wanted them on as a couple because I see couples out there, but they're just unique into what they do, and I just have enjoyed having my friendship with them over these years, and I wanted them to have an opportunity to visit with us today. So those are my thoughts.
I love it.
Likewise.
My 3 would be, I loved what you said, both of you said. Number 1, find the joy in what you do, because in this market that we're in, to cut through the noise, you've got to be real. So authenticity is supreme. And then you got to be somebody who's halfway likable. So find joy in what you do. If you're in a position, in a job, if you're doing something with your life and you're just, all the time, you're unhappy, you never smile, you can be authentic all day long. It's not going to get you very far. So I think finding joy, being authentic, and then I love what you said, Scott, about staying in your lane. Find out what it is you're good at. And then, as I always say, blow it up.
Yes.
Find
That's
the
a
thing
great
that
way to
you're
put
good
it,
at,
yeah.
and then blow it up.
Love that.
Thank you so much for coming,
Oh,
Mark.
it's our
Thank
pleasure.
you.
You bet.
all
Thank you
your
for
wisdom.
having us.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you, Sandy.
it's
Thank you,
Yes,
Mark.
You're
thank
welcome.
you
It's been
both.
fun.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Secured Title of Texas. Go visit them at their website, connect, and experience that giving culture right here in Dallas. Guys, it's good to have you here. We'll see you in July. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.